Hi guys, how are you doing? Today we're talking about something amazing that happened. I mean, Vipassana and Vipassana 10 days course, which I have just completed, and I would like to share it with you because it's amazing. Vipassana is a meditation technique which goes really deep into your subconscious mind, and this is why I call it a highway to change your mind, to recalibrate your mind. It's a life-changing experience. It's something which I have never seen before, have never experienced before after all years that I have been studying and practicing meditation. It's no blah blah kind of stuff. And if you are a critic or a pragmatist or a show me the proof kind of person, or a person who is struggling with meditation or getting started with meditation, this is for you. This is for you. This is what you've been looking for. Absolutely. But it's for everybody. It's for everybody, totally. For everybody who cares about their well-being, about their mindset, about their peace of mind and harmony in their mind. And I guess that this is all of us care about. And it works. It works. And I want to share this with you so that you know this, so that you probably do this, hopefully, and so that you feel great, so that you feel happier, so that you upgrade your mind, upgrade your life. And if you've been looking for some nice thing to do, this is a very nice thing to do. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go. In this video I'm going to share what is Vipassana, why do Vipassana, and how does Vipassana 10 days course work, and also what was my experience of this course. Let's go. Let me be crystal clear from the beginning. This 10 days course, it's not a relaxation exercise where you sit under the tree and think about life kind of stuff. No, this is not this kind of thing. This is a very intense, this is very serious work. I would say it's a very hard work where you work really hard for 10 days. This is the course which requires commitment, which requires determination, which requires commitment and determination 10 out of 10 level, and it requires a military discipline and patience. It's not a hee ha ha experience. It's really hard work, but it works. It really works, and this is why I'm sharing this with you, and this is why I encourage you to try.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No. Try not. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
And many people already have benefited from this, thousands of people, and I hope if you do this you will benefit from this as well, because it's just amazing. Okay, what is Vipassana? Vipassana is a meditation technique. It's in general about the connection between mind and matter, between mind and your body, and about how your mind affects your body and how your body affects your mind in return, and about the whole process related to this. Vipassana is based on very simple mechanism which also comes from our body, and this is the mechanism of craving and aversion. I will try to give you a very simple example of this. Imagine that something gets itchy in your body and you're like scratching immediately, and you want to get rid of this unpleasant sensation, and this is the process of aversion. You reject something which is unpleasant to you, and most of the times you do this automatically. You don't think about this. You're not like, oh, this is itchy, I'm now gonna lift my hand and I'm going to scratch. You don't do that. And this is aversion. You reject what is unpleasant. And then there is also craving. Craving is the opposite. Craving is like, for example, when you have the sun ray and it comes on your face in a very cloudy, rainy, like bad day, what you do is that you like lift your head and you want the sun ray to stay longer on your face because it's pleasant and because it's nice. And this is craving mechanism. You want to keep something which is pleasant and you want more of this. So there is this mechanism of craving and aversion. You resist what you don't want to do and you crave for what you want to do. Basically, you don't want the sun, you want the feeling which you associate with the sun. I know that this example is very basic, but it's literally how it works with everything in life in general. We don't want things, we want feelings and sensations which we associate with these things or with these people, and this is why we want those things. And this mechanism of craving and aversion over time creates basic habit patterns of our mind, and this is how our mind reacts to the reality. It basically reacts to life and reacts to everything what is happening, and most of the times this happens automatically without you even noticing this. So your mind reacts to sensations which are produced in your body, to sensations which are either pleasant or unpleasant. So the craving and aversion mechanism is what is behind actions and behind everything that you do, basically, in a nutshell. And over time, these habit patterns of your mind, they become so established in you that at some point you become the prisoner of this mechanism and the prisoner of this loop, because it goes over and over and over and over again, and it's a loop of craving and aversion, of craving and aversion, craving and aversion. You resist what is unpleasant and you crave for what is pleasant, and this is how you want things, and this is what drives behavior, this is what drives attitude towards many things, and you do this without even noticing that. And this mechanism works through a bridge, the bridge between mind and matter, and this works through sensations which you get in your physical body. And this is what Vipassana addresses. Vipassana is not about visualizing something, it's not about just relaxing, it's not about that. It's about addressing these habit patterns of your mind and of your body and recalibrating them. And it goes so deep when you work on this, especially when you do this in the 10 days course, that it literally feels like a mind surgery. This is how it feels. It's really hard work, but it works because it addresses the basic mechanism that we have, and it addresses the reactions within our body, because this mechanism of craving and aversion and the sensations, which are the bridge within the mechanism, the bridge between mind and matter, they produce reactions. And it turns out that we constantly react to the world subconsciously, and this is where awareness comes into the place. This is why it's so important. We constantly react to things without actually slowing down and observing what happens. So there is craving, there is aversion, there is sensations, and there is the reaction mechanism. And all of this creates the habit pattern in our mind, and that's how we go about life, so to say. And sensations and all of this gets produced through six doors through which sensations come in, which is sight, which is touch, which is hearing, and so on, the senses that we have in our body. And Vipassana addresses exactly these sensations, and it addresses the connection between mind and matter, body, and sensations in the body. In science, this mechanism is called interoception. Interoception is a term from neurophysiology, and it was introduced in 1906 by British neurophysiologist and the Nobel-winning prize scientist Charles Sherrington. Interoception is about sensing internal body states, and is basically the ability to sense what's going on within your body. And it can be anything. It can be heartbeat, it can be pressure, it can be hunger, whatever. It can be literally whatever is going inside your body. Interoception is this mechanism of sensing what's going on inside. And your brain has the ability to provide a certain interpretation of what is happening in your body through the sensation mechanism. And there are special nerve pathways which exist in your body, and these pathways transmit information to your brain. The thing is that sometimes there happens a mismatch between what is really happening in the body and the interpretation of the brain. And in this case, this is not really cool. This produces certain issues, and research shows us that it's related to mental disorders, different stuff like depression, anxiety, or panic attacks, ADHD, OCD, all of this stuff, which is not really cool and which really affects everything which is happening. And research shows us that meditation is one of the ways to treat these states. And Vipassana addresses exactly this. It addresses the sensations within your body, and it addresses this on experiential and on physical level. I can be telling you now very many things, a lot of theory about that, and you can be understanding this and agreeing with this or not agreeing, whatever, but it's literally something which needs to be experienced on the physical level, because this is how then also the mechanism of interoception being addressed through experiential level. It's not a mental exercise, it's a physical experiential sensation exercise, and this is why it works. I know many of you would say this is now very clear, the logic is I hope it's clear. This is now very easy, what you're saying, the mechanism is easy, yes, we don't react, we're adults, and all those things, and I'm living my life like this already this way. If so, then why do you have emotional outbursts? Why do you have pessimism moments? Why do you go into depression mode? Why do you go into fights? Why do you go into anger? Why do you go into all of those things? Why do you go into all of those things if everything is already so clear? And this is the whole thing. You may understand this from the thinking perspective. You need to go, however, through this on your body level and to connect the mind and matter. This is the only way. There is no way to understand this on the brain level, on the mind level, and then magic happens. No, it's not going to happen. But if you do this, it is going to happen.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
And this is how you unstuck. By the way, this is exactly why this playlist is called How to Unstuck, even though grammatically it would be great how to get unstuck. I'm not talking about how to achieve something, how to get something, how to, and it's not about successful success or whatever. I'm talking about how to unstuck, because stuck is not a thing, it's not something that you want to get. Stuck is a feeling, and it doesn't really matter what brought you there. Stuck is a feeling, and what you want is to unstuck. And this happens through internal work. Yes, there can be many things that are happening around, but you have no control over them. What you have control over is what's happening in your mind, what's happening in your body, what is happening in your perception mechanism, so to say. And by the way, perception and sensations are the 2 stages out of 4 stages of reaction cycle. Step number 1 is contact. Something comes into your body and you receive it. And step number 2 is perception. Your body basically labels it, like this is good stuff, this is bad stuff. Then step number 3 is that your body reacts with sensations, and step number 4, you get a reaction of your body, and this reaction is craving or aversion. You want this, you don't want this. If you want this, you want more of this. If you don't want this, you want less of this. You resist that. So that's the cycle, and this is a loop. This is the loop, this is the automatic loop, and most of the times you don't think about this and you become the prisoner of this behavioral mechanism, so to say. And Vipassana is what addresses this mechanism, and it says that in order to upgrade the mind and the life, you need to rewire the habit patterns of your mind and this reactions mechanism in your pattern. And it's very simple. To me, it sounds like it's magic, but it's also science. The thing is that before modern science appeared, Vipassana was already practiced, and the difference between two of them is about 2,000 years. Vipassana appeared 2,500 years ago, and it was discovered by Buddha. It comes from India, and it was taught by the Buddha as a mechanism, as an approach to rewire your brain and as an approach to a happier life, so to say. But even though it comes from Buddhism, Vipassana per se is not a religion, and it's open to anybody. Anybody can do this. You don't have to believe anything. It's just a mechanism which addresses the biology. And in Vipassana, what is called interoception in neuroscience is called Dhamma, and Dhamma is basically nothing else than the law of nature. And living according to Dhamma is just observing the law of nature, and this is what you do in Vipassana. It did not exist always, and it kind of came and disappeared from time to time. At some point it disappeared from India, where it came from, because it was replaced by many other techniques, or it was forgotten, or something else. And then it was preserved in Burma, which is today Myanmar, in its very, very pure form. The modern teacher of Vipassana is S.N. Goenka. He actually passed away in 2013 or 14, if I'm not mistaken. However, his records and everything are played today in meditation centers, and the whole teaching is going according to his video records. And his story is very interesting. He came from a very rich family. He was a businessman, very successful businessman, and very pragmatic person, and all of this kind of things. And he was suffering very much from migraines, and he was suffering so strong from these migraines that he was put on morphine at some point, because no doctors in the world and nobody could help him. And at some point doctors said, okay, you now need to get off morphine, because if you don't do that you will be addicted to it, so it will not be treating your migraines anymore. And then suddenly one day he meets Vipassana teacher Sayajubha King, and he learns this technique from him, and he gets rid of his migraines. And he gets so fascinated by this, and so liberated, and so happy, that he abandons all his business matters and everything that he was doing. And after many years of studying with Sayajubha King, he starts spreading Vipassana all over the world. And today Vipassana centers exist in almost every country in the world. This is a non-commercial business, and if you ever want to do Vipassana course, is absolutely for free. But it's very hard to get there, because courses get filled very, very quickly. And I tried to apply to one of these courses, but they open within very short periods of time, then 2 minutes later they're gone. Like, you can't apply there. And even if you apply there, there is not always the guarantee that you can do this. This is why I did this by myself, because I had like a little spark, so to say, inside me. One day now we're getting to the point why do Vipassana. Vipassana helps address habit patterns in your body, habit patterns in your mind, and to recalibrate your mind. And this is why do Vipassana. Speaking of interoception, it addresses mental disorders. And even if you're already fine, if you're already happy, like many people do this because they really struggle with something and they want to get out of this. But even if you're already fine and you're happy with how it goes, this was my case, for instance, it's like it's going to be x100 if you do this, because there is nothing else. There is just nothing else that does it the way it does. I might not know everything, but I have enough knowledge and experience to have courage to say that this is a very special thing. I heard about Vipassana very many years ago when I was in India for the first time. That was in 2007. And then I forgot about this for many years, and I didn't have it in mind. And then I had all of this topic, how to unstuck, and this is what I'm sharing here. I will still share many other things which I like. This is not the only meditation technique which I will be sharing here. Anyways, then something happened. Like, I woke up one day, this was recent, and I felt like something changed, like something was different. And there was something different. Like, things which I used to enjoy, or things I wanted, or things I didn't want, I noticed that I don't care about them anymore. The most basic example is like I would go to parties and I would not drink any of my even favorite cocktails. Not because I said, oh, I don't drink anymore or something else, but I just like didn't care. Like, I just didn't care. I'm like, whatever. And this was for me the day when I remembered about Vipassana, and I was like, wow, this is so nice. This is now the time to do that. And I felt like this is what I need to do right now. And I was already, as I said, I was already in a very happy place. I didn't have to struggle with something or to get out of something, but that's what also helps many people. There are very many stories around what's happening with people when they go into Vipassana. Some people have very difficult life situations. Some people just feel unhappy, or they go through something really hard, through some losses in their life, or through some just bad states. And this is why they used to share Vipassana everywhere, not only in meditation centers. It spread around 55 years ago. This is when Goenka started sharing this and building these Vipassana centers everywhere. And they also did this in many other places, like they taught this in schools, they presented this in Davos, they taught this even in prisons.
These prisoners live inside a dangerous social world. Overcrowding, deprivation, and hopelessness drive men towards extreme aggression and despair. In this environment, self-reflection and change are difficult, if not impossible. In January 2002, the prison undertook a radical experiment. It allowed a 10-day meditation retreat based on ancient Buddhist teachings to be held inside this modern-day maximum security prison.
The gymnasium had been transformed from a place where people yelled and hollered. There have been a lot of fights in there. There have been people that have been assaulted in that area. And it had been transformed into an area where you took off your shoes and walked to a mat to sit to meditate.
These people are locked in for life from a very young age. Some of them were so angry for years. The first time that they had some relief was when they were taught how to sit down these 10 hours a day for 10 days and observe the sensations coming up with their anger that usually caused an immediate reaction. There was a 20% reduction in disciplinary action, and so they decided in Donaldson to bring Vipassana in periodically, at least 4 times a year, so that many more prisoners will be able to go through this program.
I've always been angry. I took anger management, stress management, but anger management is showing me how to conceal that anger. And stress, it teaches you basically about the same. When I went to Vipassana, I sat on that cushion for 10 days, that showed me how to let it come up and deal with it. Don't suppress it. Bring it out and deal with it. I've done that. One makes a mistake. I made a mistake, and everyone can change. I can say I didn't change. It feels good.
This brings in mind the book of Arthur Yanov, who is the author of a book, Prisoners of Pain. Arthur Yanov was a psychologist, and in this book he shares that basically we become prisoners of our stuck emotions and of everything which is inside and which gets stuck there and which does not get out, and this is how we get neurosis and other issues, and that's how we get stuck. And the question is, how do we unstuck? And Vipassana is one of the ways how do we unstuck. So this is why people do this. This is why do Vipassana, and it's really amazing. And there are very many stories around, and you guys can go and check it out and see what people share. Or you can just trust me, because I already checked it all out and I'm sharing with you what I find out. And even Harari shares that he's been practicing Vipassana since 18 years or something, and he even credits his ability to write in his books to Vipassana.
I don't think I could have written any of my books without the help of the focus and the discipline and the clarity that this kind of meditation gives.
Which can also help you. That's why I'm sharing this with you. So it doesn't really matter you were struggling with something really hard or you want to just upgrade your life, and your mind is going to work anyways because it addresses the physical level. It's not about thinking something. So now we're going to the part how Vipassana 10 days course works, and it really does, and it have worked for thousands of people. The probability that it will not work is very low. Like, I would say it's down to zero, because meditation in general works. We're now not going to go into why it works. It really does if you do this properly and if you do this continuously, because meditation has accumulative effects. You can't just do it one day and expect magic. But this is a level beyond anything. So how does the 10 days course work? It's hard. It's very hard. So what happens every day? 10 days you do nothing else than just meditation. There is no communication happening outside. Okay, now let's go to the code of conduct. What are the rules? You can't have any communication at all. You don't talk to anybody. There is no phone, there is no internet, there is no whatsoever. If you do this in the center, you cannot communicate with people even with gestures. It's like absolutely no communication. You should not engage into any physical activity, like no sports, not even yoga. All of these rules, they have a reason why they're there, and these reasons are, among others, is that in order to rewire your brain and to recalibrate everything, you need to get rid of things. You need to stop the incoming stuff into your mind and your body, because if you don't stop what is incoming into your body, how you get rid of the rest? And the idea is that if there is nothing incoming, this is where you can address everything what is inside, and this is how the purification of the mind happens. That's in a nutshell. And what you do is nothing else than you do 11 hours of meditation every day. You wake up at 4:30, meditation starts. This goes until 6:30. Then there is break for rest and breakfast. Then there is another hour, another hour, another hour. These are the hours which are now marked on the screen in, let's say, blue. Let's mark them in blue. And then there is another rest, and then you go on with meditation. This is it. And in the evening there is a discourse, the day discourse by Goenka, where there is the video where he goes into some stories, into some theoretical constructs of Vipassana. Some of those constructs I shared with you today. He really knows what to tell you every day. He really does. What to tell you on the first day, on the second day, on the third day.
Art of living, this is what you're learning now. Everything that happens outside creates a sensation inside. And this first part will know something is happening. The second part will start giving evaluation, and this evaluation will turn the sensation pleasant or unpleasant. If you train your mind not to get affected by these sensations, pleasant or unpleasant, not to react to the sensations, pleasant, unpleasant, then you are changing the habit pattern of your mind at the deepest level. Even if you react, the sankhara will not be that deep, because you won't be repeating again and again. You will come to senses. Of course, now it's just a beginning. Now just a beginning. In 1 hour, most of the time you will be repeating this sankhara again and again. Oh, so much of pain. What sort of meditation is this? So much pain. I don't like pain. You are repeating. Old habit is there. But you get few moments when you say, all right, let me see how long it lasts. I don't react. I don't generate sankhara of aversion, and I observe. Few moments, wonderful moments. When you are just observing, your head is above the water. And then you again start reacting, your head has gone below the water, and you don't know where you are flowing. And after some time again the head comes above the water. Those few moments when your head is above the water are wonderful moments. Those few moments will turn into few seconds. And these few seconds will turn into few minutes. You change the habit pattern of your mind. You come out of this misery. Come out of it. Come out of it. A very wonderful technique is there.
You always have choice. You can choose the life of reaction and you react to life happening to you, or you can choose the life of observation. And if you observe what is happening inside, you basically stop resisting life, you stop reacting, you stop doing these aversion kind of things, and you start seeing this. You stop going against, and you stop also chasing something, and this is how you appear to be right here right now and to see the reality the way it is, and not the way you want this reality to be. Not like I don't want this, I want this. You just observe what's going on, and this is how you become present. Like, that's the secret to the famous hyped being present and being in the moment. That's the secret. And it goes through observation, and when you go and approach this through observation, you stop swimming against the stream. You start just seeing this stream, because the water in the stream is changing anyways. Like, there is constant flow of water, there is always a new stream, it's changing. And this is the core principle of Vipassana, which is called anicca. Anicca means impermanence, and that everything is changing, and things, they arise and they pass away, and things come to pass away, and whether we want this or not, everything comes and goes away, and there is no point to react to things that are changing anyways. And this is what anicca principle is about, and this is how Vipassana addresses this. It addresses this through your body. So the step number one is that the first 3 days you do nothing else but you're observing the sensations in this area of your face, of your body, of your nose. The day number one, you're basically just addressing your attention to this part, to the beginning of your nostrils, and you do nothing else than this. You just watch what's going on there, and this is meant to sharpen your mind and to make it really attentive to the thing. And the day one, it was real madness. Like, I woke up at 4, and then you sit there, like, you watch this, and you need to feel what's going on there. And by the end of the day one, you already feel much more and sense much more what's going on here. And the day one, it's crazy, and you sit there, and there is like, all you have is your body, insane pain in your body, because you're not used to sitting for such long time, and you need to sit straight. You cannot lay down or something. You need to sit like I'm sitting right now. And you sit there, and there is only this, and there is insane madness happening in your mind. Like, your thoughts, my thoughts in that case, coming all the time. This is coming, then this is coming, then this is coming, and this is called monkey mind, right? Because it's like a monkey jumping from a tree to tree, grabbing a new one every second, and they come and they this, and then you're like sitting there, like, it's like you remember, like in Harry Potter, when he is fighting against these dementors, and he's standing there, and they're like flying all over him, and here and here, and shoo, shoo, shoo. And he's like, oh no, like trying to fight them, and he's like, what was he saying in this case? What was the trick? What was the trick of this? He had to say, I don't remember how it was called, but it was like this kind of situation, and they're flying into your mind, and they're like shoo, 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 and they're like attacking you from all of the perspectives, and you're like, like, no, stop this. And there's like different kind of stuff. Like, 1 second there is this thought, then there is this thought, and you're like, how are they all related to each other? Like, how they manage to come together in your mind in 1 minute. And many different things, like sometimes things which were like ages ago, like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years, like I didn't even know that I remember these things. And it's not like a big deal, not big stuff, not like something bad. No, sometimes just like moments, or something, some thoughts, or something, what happened. And what all you want to do in this moment is just to stop this, to stop. You like, stop. But the thing is, you are not supposed to stop this, because this would go against the Vipassana principle, against the principle of anicca, and because everything comes and goes, and your task is just to sit and to observe. but it's hard. On the day one, it's hard. It seems impossible. On day one, it seems impossible, and everything hurts, and you're like, wow. So you just need to sit there and to watch and to observe. This is why I'm saying it requires a lot of discipline. It's very hard to do. If you do this by yourself, this is really insane, because you, apart from the things that you need to do and that you need to go with the schedule and everything, you also need to not to give up. You need to move on. On the day one, I thought like, okay, why don't I go take a nap and prepare a little bit better, and I start tomorrow again. So tomorrow is the day one. But then I was like, you know what? It's been already 2 hours, and these 2 hours feel like they're the hardest 2 hours of my entire life. No, this is not going to happen. I'm not stopping right now. This was the moment when the radio started in my head on top of the thoughts. And day two, all I had in my head, don't stop me now, I'm having such a good time. The time was questionably good, but I was like, come on, let's go. On the day one, I had the Highway to Hell song. I was like, no, this is not a highway to better life and better mind. This is a highway to hell. And this is really, it's hardcore. So then on the day two, you change a little bit the area, but you're still in this area. So you're like in this area of observation. And then the day three, you expand to this triangle. And this is what you do. You just watch it and you get sensations over there. Actually, this is not Vipassana yet itself, and Vipassana is what starts on day number 4. And on day number 4, what you do after you sharpened your mind, because the first 3 days they're just about your attention and sharpening your mind so that you can focus a bit better. Your attention is everything you have in life. Everything. This is the most valuable asset that you have in life. And if you are the 3-second attention span person who goes for dopamine hits, all this stuff, guys, this is not working. This is a highway to hell. Going on and proceeding like this. This is not the way to go. This is not the way to go. The way to go is to invest your attention in what really matters and to bring back the connection between the mind and matter, between your mind and your body. And this is what Vipassana does. So on day number 4, something changes. What changes are 2 things. You go through the body scan. So what you do is that you're scanning the whole body, the sensations in your body. And you go from head to toe, and it's not like you scan it like within one breath you already scanned everything what happened in your body. No, you go step by step, and there are 3 hours where you cannot move at all. So you sit, however you sit in the beginning, you keep on sitting like this, you do not move. This is why on the day 3, by the way, was super hard, because something starts working, my mind started resisting this, and it was worse than day 1 and day 2, and you're like fighting these dementors, there's pain everywhere, I'm like, oh my god, why I'm doing this? I was already happy with my meditations before, and I was like, why? And oh my god, it's hard. It's hard work. It requires military level of discipline, 10 out of 10 military level of discipline, 10 out of 10 level of commitment, 10 out of 10 determination. But if you do this, sky's the limit for you, I think. So day number 4, you don't move these three hours of this day, and there is insane pain happening, really, really, really hard, really hard. You get into survival mode. You're like, okay, I can do it, and it's hard. And this is the whole thing. Again, anicca, everything comes and goes. And first it seems to you like, no, I can't, no, I need to move. But then after some time, you manage that, and it really goes away. And your pain really goes away. It really goes. It really does. All feeling, all sensations and everything, it really comes and goes away. And this is what you do starting from day 4. You do the full body scan, and this is what Vipassana is. And those hours when you don't move, this is really hardcore, but since it goes better over time, For me, it was really good on the day 8. I remember it like it was yesterday. This 1 hour session where you don't move. And this was day 8, and this was the session where for the whole hour I did not have any single thought. Any single thought. I was like crystal clear, like a lake. Like everything was like, wow. There was pain. There was pain in the session. And then this pain went away by the end. And this was the hour when I was like, wow. And it felt like magic. It literally felt like magic. I was very happy that this happened. I realized this only by the time it happened, and maybe it was the first time when I went into this without willing to not have any thoughts. But because believe me, when you're constantly there and constantly your thoughts, and sometimes these thoughts are random thoughts or innocent thoughts or like good thoughts. I thought about my YouTube channel. I thought about park. I thought about fun. Oh, by the way, this was the moment when I started tricking my mind. Like, it's really hard not to trick your mind, not to be willing to have no thoughts in your mind. This was the moment when I had something funny in my mind and I started laughing, and the moment when I started laughing I realized that it's now became easier to sit and to meditate, and there is like less pain. And so I noticed that there was less pain, and I was like, oh, this is nice. So you remember these studies when they say that when you start smiling, your brain reacts and you automatically get better mood and you like feel like everything is better. So like when you're in the bad mood, you're just like this, and then you start feeling better. So I started tricking my mind by like this was like literally, and then I was like, okay, come on, Annalie, this is not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to trick your mind to have no thoughts. You're just supposed to observe. But it's hard to do this, and so this trick really works. If you ever have bad mood or something, start smiling, start faking your smile to yourself. You will get better moods. These studies, they work. I can confirm. And then this day 8 and this 2:30 session. So I was like, wow, it was a crystal clear session and I had no thoughts, no nothing, and I was, this is amazing, this is great, and I felt like mission complete. I felt great.
However unpleasant it is, just observe, just observe. And people reach the stage, sometimes on the 7th day or 8th day or 9th day or 10th day, or maybe in 2 courses or 3 courses, they reach a stage where all the solidity gets dissolved and there is a very free flow of subtle vibrations throughout the body, energy flowing throughout the body, and it looks so pleasant, so pleasant. Ah, wonderful. This is bliss. This is ecstasy. I was looking for it. Now I got my goal. And you develop so much of attachment to it. Ah, I got it. I got it. Without understanding this is equally impermanent, changing. Morning you had a wonderful experience of a flow of energy throughout the body. And afternoon it changed. And you again have pains and heaviness and numbness. And you come to your teacher or your assistant teacher and say, oh, wonderful, morning meditation was so wonderful, and now it is so bad. You become so miserable because you developed attachment to something which was so impermanent. Then it becomes so clear that not only unpleasant sensations are misery, the pleasant sensations are also misery, because there is a tendency of your developing attachment to it. And every attachment is synonymous to misery. You are bound to feel miserable because whatever you are attached to is not permanent, it is impermanent, bound to change sooner or later.
It's very uncomfortable, and you have to be comfortable with what is uncomfortable and to accept that and to observe that and just to let it pass and let it go. You have to let it go because there is no other way. There is no other way, because you will be suffering. Because you will be suffering. This brings in mind the book by Haruki Murakami, what I talk about running, where he says that pain is inevitable, but suffering is. You can choose whether you suffer, and you can choose whether you don't suffer, and it's in your mind and it's how you approach that. But pain, it will be there and it will go, but suffering you can eliminate if you want. And there were some really emotional moments at some point. I remember there were 4 moments. In my case, I'm not going to go through them, but there were 4 moments where I really felt like something got released, got out. It's not like I had an intention to get something out. There were just some things that came in the moment, and they produced a very hard kind of thing in my mind and in my body. And once in some of those moments I cried automatically, not because I was like crying, "Ooh, this is so bad," or like, no, not this, like I was not thinking about this. Something just happened, it produced the sensation, I was aware something like this in my mind. There was an automatic like relief of this through crying, through just like phew, a lot of something, like a lot of energy going out. And that was it. And I felt amazing after this. Like, and I felt like, whoa, this is so nice. And now when I think about those things, I'm like, whatever, like they have no power over me anymore. Even though I felt that they have no power over me also before, because I was like cool with them, now I'm like really sure that they were like eliminated like forever and ever. And this is nice. And this is not something which I was able to do with another meditation. You can't do this through thinking cognitive process. You can't do this through conversation, through you can't. It's this connection. It's this you can't address this through other stuff. No, like this is not working. But this Vipassana, this works. It's amazing. It's great. It's just great. And on the day 10, there is again the slight difference. On day 10, you add something to Vipassana, and this is the practice of love. And after this, pure bliss, like, it's just happiness. It's just happiness, and it's happiness which is unconditional happiness. It's not about, I will be happy when I get this, or I get that, or I'll get there, or I'll get there. It's not about this. I'm speaking from my personal experience. It's not about that. It's just unconditional. It's just the way it is. This is what Vipassana literally means. Seeing the things the way they are. Seeing the reality the way it is. And that's the meaning of the word. And it's this unconditional happiness. When I remember now about this, when I think about this, yes, it was hard. Yes, on the first day, second day, third day, all those days, I think, until day 8, they were really intense, very intense. And me fighting with these thoughts which I'm not supposed to do, and fighting against these dementors, and I'm like, Patronus! Oh yeah, Patronus, this is how it was called. And I'm like, Patronus, stop it! Don't come into my mind! And you're like, completely, totally wow. By the way, do you remember what Harry Potter had to do in Patronus exercise? He, in order to do this Patronus, which was like something very hard that only professional magicians could do, he had to trigger the best and brightest feeling and sensation and the brightest memory out of himself in order to strengthen this Patronus. And do you see the connection there? Like, it's all somehow related and based on feelings, on sensations that we have, on our memories, on our impressions from life. This brings in mind meditations by Aurelius, where he speaks about all of these impressions. And I remember I wrote a poem once about this. Let me find it. And this is what I wrote after I read this book, The Meditations. It's called Tomorrow is Now. In you, my mind, I measure time. In you, I measure time. Impressions that the things had left the moment they were gone. Impressions, even when they're gone, are present. And this is what I measure when I measure time. Perception of time, by the way, was probably the hardest thing within this whole 10 days, because when you are in the monkey mind status, you don't notice how the time goes by, because you think about this and think about that and about this and about that, and then bam, and the hour is gone. But you get tired, like you don't feel good after this. There is no, how can I say, there is no this thing which needs to be there. And when you are within, and when you put attention and you observe, and when you're not doing this purely and properly, this time perception is very intense. Like the time is very slow, but it's slow, like it's not pleasantly slow, it's like slow. But when you get into the mode, when you purely observe and don't react, and you purely within yourself in the moment, like that session which I had on the day 8, when there was like hallelujah, hallelujah. This is when the time, when you become in line with time, like you become time. Does that make sense? Like, it makes sense in my head. You become in line with time. Like there's no time in this case. There is no time. You are time. And yes, the perception of time becomes irrelevant, like unnecessary. You don't need to track time. When I started these sessions, this 1 hour when you don't move, I literally tried to understand, like, okay, how do I understand that I'm now getting closer to the end of the 1 hour? Like, how do I understand that? And I tried to measure this, like, okay, how much time it takes me to do the full body scan, like, and which I was not supposed to do, which I had to bring myself back to that's not what I'm supposed to do, because you just observe, right? Anita, everything comes and goes away. It's not easy to implement. It's not as easy as it sounds. Try it yourself.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No. Final. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
When I went through this, and when I started doing this properly, and when I arrived to this point where all these things came together, then there was no time anymore. Then there was no pain anymore. I was just there. This is what in the moment and being present and all those things mean, and it goes only through observation, only through the connection. And this is a highway to go into this straight away. Of course, you can go and try many other methods. I will be sharing, and I'm sharing things which I like, my favorites, from How to Unstuck Saga. This is something, and this is a reason why I'm putting this straight away at the beginning of this playlist without going through all of the years of what we will be going through and of my favorites. It just elevates you, or me in this case, and you if you do this, and everybody who has already done this, somewhere very, very up, like somewhere very, very, very high. It's really nice. It can change your life. It can change life of your friends, of somebody with whom you share this video with. Please do share this video with people who you think would love that, or people who you think would benefit from this. I remember when I was sitting in one of these sessions, and I was like, oh my god, this person should do this, this person should do this, this person should do this, everybody should do this. I want the whole world to watch this video and to do Vipassana. Let's do it, guys. It's amazing. It's great. You will love this. You will love this. It's just amazing, okay? It's just great. If you ever do this, please do let me know. And I really wish that you feel amazing, that you have harmony in your mind, that you have harmony in your life, that you feel all of this, that you unstuck. If you're not stuck, that you get elevate it even more. And thank you so much for watching this video. Just thank you, and see you next time.